guys, I'm Jordan with AviNation. This is Tram Talk. Would you like to introduce yourself and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Greg Koontz. I come in the business of aerobatics. I'm an American champion dealer, so I sell decathlons. Airshow pilot for 50 years so far, I think. And something just crashed into us. But anyway, and I teach aerobatic flying out of my house on a little private runway.
That's awesome that you get to do all of that. So would you like to tell us a little bit about your flight school and what sets it apart from other ones?
Yeah, definitely. And you know, I've taught aerobatics since 1974, and tailwheel training too kind of goes together, you know. Mm-hmm. And I was a corporate pilot for a lot of that time, but you know, you start out flight instructing, and then you get a better job, you know, money-wise. But then I want to get back to it. And in '93, I bought a decathlon and started my own school. But I was still flying corporate, and kind of on the side on the weekends. In 2003, I just got the idea I'm going to go on my own, and saved up some money. And my kids are going to college, and that money was saved up. So I went for it and quit the corporate, and started my own school. I'd actually been doing it on the side till then. So what's really different about my school is I do it out of my house. So I've got a house on a 3,900-foot grass strip out in the country. So I made it a bed and breakfast aerobatic school.
I love that.
I take 2 students at a time, and I designed my courses around be a 2-day course. So I got a basic course for 2 days and an advanced course for 2 days. And the other thing that makes it unique is, you know, aviation is just really tied up on by the hour. What do you charge by the hour? You know, everything's by the hour. But you know, aerobatic lessons vary quite a bit, and or circumstances kind of slow them down or whatever. I decided to make it flat rate. So my courses are a flat rate and include staying at my house in a private room, and then 3 meals a day, and any refreshments they want in the evening, and it's just a whole package deal. I didn't think much of that other than just seemed to simplify things, but we started that in 2003 when we moved out there, and we went from 1 or 2 students a month to 4 months booked up ahead, all week, every week. It went crazy.
Yeah.
But it's fun. You know, people come and stay. You get to really get to know them. We have dinner and cook out, and a lot of people bring their wives, and you know, it just turned into something a whole lot more than just some lessons.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good system, and I feel like you can really build a connection or relationship with your students through having them stay there. That's really cool.
Well, a couple of young ladies came about your age that a couple of weeks ago and one of them brought their grandmother.
Oh my gosh.
93 years old. She had an amazing flying record. She's had some really cool airplanes. And she just wanted to see if she could fly some aerobatics still. So we had a great time. And just teaching the young ladies was great, but she was a hoot. You know, very tenacious lady, you know. So they were just to my ground school here today. I did a forum on tailwheel, and one of the girls brought me a nice little present.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it's a refreshment from Kentucky.
That's cool. I love it. So would you say, it sounds like you got a lot of experience. How do you transfer like your personal experience in flying aerobatics to what you teach in your curriculum?
Well, you know, you do enough aerobatics, you start figuring it out. When I started teaching aerobatics, you know, I thought I had it all figured out. But once you teach something, you find out what you don't know. Mm-hmm. And it forces you to learn and forces you to ask questions with experts. And I did that along with Jim Holland, who was a famous Airshow and aerobatic person. He's in the Hall of Fame and all that jazz. So, yeah, by doing it, you learn a whole lot more about it. And doing air shows, and when you're doing an inverted ribbon cut about 18 feet off the ground, you better get it right.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of time.
Yeah, for sure. So what would you say, out of all of your different things you've done in aviation, is your favorite experience? Like, I know you probably have a lot of favorites, but just one that comes to mind right now.
Well, experiences change with time and how much you've done it. I mean, you know, I'll never forget how nervous I was my first air show in a Cub doing a comedy act. Mm-hmm. Or the first time I sat on the end of the runway going to do a roll-on takeoff at a decathlon. Those are outlying moments, being pretty nervous, Then after a while, that kind of thing comes rather routine. I mean, you shouldn't take anything like that for granted. But those are some outstanding moments. And, soloing both my kids. And in fact, I taught my wife how to fly. We had some really outstanding moments. Teaching your spouse how to fly is well,
that's super
it's an experience.
cool.
Let's put it that way.
That'd be a different way to teach someone for sure. That's really cool though that you got.
But we actually ended up getting married, so it worked, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. So I have one last final question for you. What piece of advice would you give to anyone who's a student right now?
Well, I get that a lot, and it's never really been easy to learn how to fly. Schools they kind of vary in equipment and instructors. Instructors have always traditionally been just trying to build time to go to the airlines or something, and I've heard this aggravation that they've been through several instructors, and instructors, don't show up because they got a chance to fly co-pilot on King Air or something, and that's terrible. You need really be careful how you pick your flight instructor, because you need someone who's dedicated to teaching you. If you can possibly find that, you don't always have that good a choice, and be consistent. My years of teaching primary, I did it for 10 years, teaching all that commercial and private and stuff. The biggest mistake people would make was draw it out. So I finally did the math for some people so I could give that advice. It is, when you draw it out, you fly a lot more. And the flying hours these days are a couple $100 for a lesson. Back when I was doing it was like $27,
Yeah.
But that was back when the earth was still cooling, But but still, it's all relative, isn't it? So I sat down and ran the numbers and how much extra people have to fly to kind of remember what they were doing. They get rusty between lessons. Instead of flying 3 times a week, they're flying once a week maybe. And I go, listen, you're going to spend so much money because you're going to fly longer. It's cheaper to go to the bank and borrow the money and go right through it by far than to stretch it out like that, and less frustrating.
Yeah.
Somebody, but I have more flying hours. Well, hours are hours. Okay, they sound interesting, but what you want to be is a pilot. If it takes you 60 hours to be a pilot instead of 40 hours, you spent half again to get there. And you're at the same place, aren't you? Mm-hmm. So my advice is, don't take lessons until you can fly 3 days a week, or borrow the money.
Yeah.
It's better.
That's really good advice, and that makes so much sense. I'm sure that will help a lot of our viewers, and they'll take that to heart.
I hope so.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of Sun and Fun.
My pleasure.
You guys talk about the Aero Cup at all?
No.
Let's do another take. Can you edit that in?
Yeah.
Sure.
I can edit anything in.
Oh, good. Can you edit that out? What I did?
What specifically do you want me to ask?
About
just sit down
the
here.
Aero Cup. Just say. I noticed we're here at it's called the Lakeland Flying Club, and I can explain what that is. I noticed you're here at the Lakeland Flying Club. Do you know these guys, or what do you do here, or something like that?
Yeah, we could totally do that. Is it still going?
Aero Club.
All right. So I noticed you were here at the Lakeland Aero Club. Would you like to tell us what you're doing here and a little bit about the club?
Yeah, I'm kind of connected to these people. Sun and Fun set up a high school after a gentleman. I'm not good at names, so I can't just throw it out real quick. But it's the Aeronautical Center of Excellence, and it's a high school. It's a high school for teaching things about aviation. So kids who want to get into aviation will get a really good foundation before they move on to a college or a flight school, whatever they choose to do. So they can be an aerospace engineer or all kinds of things. And a lot of them want to be a mechanic, or a lot of them want to be a pilot. So there's an endowment set up to make that inexpensive. So it's really, people can choose to go to a private high school to take high school. They'll meet the requirements of the state for what they have to take, but all the electives will be aviation style and guided in what direction they want to go with it. It's a great program, but they decided to get some real flying activity or hands-on activity to it, so they developed a side thing, which is the Lakeland Flying Club. It's really an opportunity connected to the school that those students want to actually work on an airplane or learn how to fly an airplane. They can come down here just a couple blocks and after school spend the rest of the day, a few hours a day, involved with that. And now I don't know exact numbers because I don't run it, but Mike Z does, and he can splash them out. They've taught like 128 or so kids how to fly. They've got a huge list of kids that have become mechanics, and they've got people that graduated, got all kinds of great jobs in aviation now. So it's a program getting young people involved and interested in aviation. Very important, because what's going on right now is the airlines are actually predicting they will not have enough pilots to do all the routes pretty soon. They're just going to run out. Not enough people are coming into it. They're running out of mechanics. So even the airlines have got these schools set up to try to channel people into them. It's wide open. They're paying big bonuses even to come to work. And it amazes me that kids aren't just diving in to do this. How fun is it to be a pilot?
Yeah.
You know? And these programs like this one help fund that. These kids build airplanes and then they learn how to fly in them. I mean, it's really cool. And if they help build the airplane, all they buy is the gas. So it's really affordable. So it's a great program. I support them. I do a fly-in at my house every year in October. And they come up on Monday, and 6 of them get aerobatic or upset training from me and their spin endorsement for being a flight instructor. And then they stay and help me run the fly-in. And what I did is I doubled the price of come to my fly-in and made it clear it's a fundraiser, and I pay for the food and give them the rest. Isn't a huge check. A lot of people have the ability to give them a lot more than I do, but I have fun doing that.
Yeah, that's definitely a good experience for them, especially since they're in high school. They can take classes that keep them interested in school, and how you help them continuously.
Yeah, it's based on merit and achievement. I mean, they get some great opportunities. They work hard. They're just going to lay it in their lap. They'll let them work on the airplanes and fly the airplanes, and so it's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, for sure.